What was the other subject that you
The
were gonna
biggest
talk
subject,
about
which I really want to talk today, and it's perfect timing, is actually about 2012.
Okay.
Because we heard
Yeah,
that so
what
many
about that?
times.
We're about 2012.
Yeah, what did you hear about 2012? Tell them what you heard.
No, it's just vague.
It's vague, and it talks about what?
The end of
the world.
Right. Okay. Now, my Bible tells me that no man knoweth the hour
Or the day or an hour.
of Jesus' coming.
But you see, you just missed it again.
Yeah.
You said Jesus is coming.
Right.
All those theorists talks about the end of the world.
Right.
They don't even consider what the end of the world considered to be when Jesus Christ comes.
Right, because it really wouldn't be actually. So
Exactly.
you're right.
So there's a couple things
but-
which is supposed to happen according to the Bible prophecies before Jesus Christ comes.
Yeah. But
And let's go backwards, kind of.
Yeah. Well. Before you do that, yeah. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. I'll let you go backwards, and then we'll.
Well, before Jesus Christ comes back, what do we have? We have plagues. 7 last plagues talks about Revelation 15 and Revelation 16 explains by which God finishes his work. Before 7 last plagues, there is a time of the Antichrist where it's going to be introduced.
Okay.
There's going to be a time of peace and safety because Jesus Christ told us when they say peace and safety, the sudden destruction will come. There's well, we already actually passed most of the other ones. We live right now, today is what? 16th of May?
17th of May.
17th of May. So the New Age movement predicting the Antichrist to be arriving on May 21st of this year. So May 21st of this year, they're going to try to introduce the Maitreya. Maitreya is they call so-called the world teacher, the world master, and he's the one who's going to make the whole world better. So guys, just keep an eye for it. Possibility actually being aired through the Oprah network. The reason why, because Oprah is very involved in the New Age movement.
Okay.
And that's a subject on its own, just like Jay-Z, Illuminati. I mean, all demonic worshiping. I don't like them. There's plenty of information I can give. The good sites to go to. Check out on the YouTube the videos of Forerunner 777, who really goes into details and explain. And I thank all those courageous Christian people to expose all these secret organizations. So now, 2012 is a specific date.
Okay.
It talks about December 21st, 2012.
How did they come to that date?
And the way they come to it is by the Mayan calendar. And the Mayan calendar, Mayans calendar. So the Mayan was actually tracking the stars.
Okay.
And they were able to calculate, just by the movement of the stars.
But there's not very many Mayans left today.
No,
So
absolutely
I guess to
not.
them it would be the end of the world. I'm not trying to.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
anyway, the thing is that what gave the Mayans the authority on that?
Oh, you're so good about it. So let's go back and find out what did they come up with this calendar.
This
To
is
start it up,
predicting the end of the world, right?
yeah. To start it up, why don't you open the Genesis 1?
Okay.
We're gonna go on the
Genesis
third day. What happened with Genesis 1 on the third day?
Genesis what?
It's a verse 14, 15, and 16. Why don't you read it to me?
Okay, I got first find
Here you go.
Genesis 1:14, right?
Yep.
And God said, "Let there be lights in the firmament of the heavens to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years."
So hold on. God creates the stars for what?
For lights. Oh.
And what?
Let me
It says
see.
for signs.
For let the be in the firmament for the heights divide. Let them be for signs, right?
And
for seasons
and
for days and years.
oh, so it's a calendar.
Right.
So on the third and half day, God create the calendar.
Right.
How did Jews nation? What calendar did they had? They had moon calendar.
Right.
Okay, where is the moon calendar came from? And most of you will have no clue, because the Bible doesn't have all the books which was written by the holy men.
Okay.
One of them, which I will talk about it, is Book of Enoch. Enoch was the grandfather of Noah. So we're talking about the time before flood. And the stories, especially, I'm going to touch up on Revelation, on Genesis 6, because at that time we had so-called giants on earth. Okay, whereas the sons of God came down and took to themselves wives, and to them was born giants. Giants is the wrong translation. It's actually translation Nephilim.
What's that?
Nephilim is just a third race. That's
Okay.
all there is to it.
Okay.
Okay, it's a race between fallen angels and humans. Many people right away say, "Oh, angels can't have sex," blah blah blah. Where did you get that?
Well, that's an interesting concept because you would figure that if they could, they would. Jesus had referred to himself as not being a spirit. Then again, he also referred to when they were challenging him on the marriage paradigm, and they said, "Well, whose wife is this man? Would this woman be? Because she had 8 husbands, and they all died." And so he said they're going to be. He said, "You greatly err because they won't be given in marriage because their bodies." He said they'll be as the angels.
Hold on.
So
He
now-
said specifically, "For in resurrection you will be like angels, not given in marriages."
Right. So
Okay, in resurrection,
right.
that's a future event.
Right.
Okay, so what's happened
But
with devil?
What I'm saying is that, but we're looking at the particular point that he made relating to the bodies, okay? Because they were obviously also including the physical part of that.
Let's go back to the story of Lot.
Right.
Okay, all of a sudden, right before Lot has to leave, 3 angels look like man's comes to the city,
Right.
and all the rest of the people wants to do what with them?
Have sex.
Have
with
sex with them. So
Right.
that means those angels who looks like a man, you think they missing some parts?
them. No, but
You think they cannot?
But see, now there's a difference between looking like and actually being it, because that was why the disciples were confused, because when Jesus came, he looked like a man, but he acted like a spirit because he came through the door, So, and he said, "Well, I'm not a spirit because spirit don't have." This is when he explained, and see, we know that the angels are spirits because they were. Evil angels fallen from heaven. He said they don't have bones and flesh, and they can't eat food like
But
this.
the Revelation,
said, "Give me a
the
piece of
Genesis 6 teaches us what the sons of God came and took the daughters of man as wives.
Yeah.
And now, take a look. The only way we can really conclude this whole thing is by the reading Isaiah 8:20. And it speaks there, "To the law and to this testimony, if they do not speak according to this word, it's because there is no light in them."
Right.
So we have to consider anything we read has to be according to the law, 10
Right.
Commandments, and the testimony, the prophecy. There's having angels' reproductive system working out has anything to do with the law?
I don't know what you. No.
No. Does it has anything to do with the prophecy?
No.
Okay, so there is nothing contradiction because we have no clue what's really happened in that time. And the only thing I can do is accept what my Bible teaches or what's the book of Enoch, because the book of Enoch has never said anything like, "Oh, don't keep 10 commandments."
Right,
Or
right.
Jesus Christ ain't gonna come. Or there's, read it and learn it. It has to be according to the law and to the testimony. If there
Right.
are some little things we're missing, we gotta remember we may have to accept it because they don't teach us against the law and the testimony.
Right.
Okay, so now let's recoup it. What we learned: God created the sun, the moon, and the stars for the signs, seasons, days, and months. So it's a calendar,
Right.
and it also identifies the sun. The signs. So now let's go back at the day when Jesus Christ was born on earth. Who came to see him?
The wise man
Oh, the wise men. Who are they?
and the shepherds
And the shepherds. Good.
Yeah.
Shepherds represents as down to earth, simple people, and the Magi, those wise men, was considered to be devil worshippers
Okay, why did you say that though?
because that's how everybody
wise
say.
men.
Everybody considers. So as soon as you learn anything about astronomy, not astrology, astronomy. Oh man, you demonic man, you don't know that.
Right.
Because people don't even understand what the stars was actually created by God as a calendar.
Okay.
And how many times do you have
And
heard that
stars.
in churches? Never. They will
Right.
never even consider that stuff.
Right, right.
So
And-
now all of a sudden they say, oh, whoever counts the days and hours, man, they're just devil worshippers. They have no clue. No. There are those people who really take the word and study. But in that book of Enoch, it explains a very, very serious point. But those sons of men, which is those fallen angels, they were very, very high in the position because they were there during the creation.
Okay.
Okay, they witnessed the whole creation. They witnessed everything. They were called watchers, and they were able to understand a lot of laws which man couldn't. And it's in that book. It explains what they came and disclosed that information to the men's and women's, and that's how was able, like Mayans, when that calendar came. You can identify any fallen angel worshiping or demonic worshiping by the symbols. Who do they worship? They worship snakes and dragons. The Bible teaches us specifically what the snake and dragon represents.
Right. Okay.
So it
right.
gives you already a clue. 5,000, 6,000 years almost later on, you still can identify who did they worship and where did the knowledge came from.
Right.
Okay, so now they come up with this actual perfect calendar,
Right.
which was calculated the specific moment. And what is that moment? What did they come up with? 2012, as I remember, I was third grade kid, 9 years old.
Yeah. Right.
And I'm reading in Russia. I'm in Russia. Went to my uncle's house, and he has a bunch of stack of the magazines
Right.
about technology. And I'm reading there what's in 2012. There will be Parade of Planet.
Okay.
You heard of that?
Yeah. The planets line up.
Okay, the planets all line up in one line. Okay, very, very unique. Happens once 26,000 years.
Okay.
So, of course, I almost forgot about it later on in my life. I come back and hold on, that did not change. So then I started learning even more. Apparently, in 2012, not only all the planets are lining up,
Right.
we also go into the middle of our galaxy. Okay, most people don't even want to consider talking about galaxy,
But
where
that would
you at
take
and
that
everything
would
else.
take years for us to get to the middle of
No.
the.
Oh,
galaxy.
hold on. It takes 26,000 years to cross the middle of the galaxy and come back, which is
26,000.
26,000 years. But you got to remember,
No, I thought
how
it was
did
more
how did God create the man? Did He create him as a little baby, or He created him fully
mature.
grown?
Right.
Okay, same thing here. He already created us, and we was already at a certain position. So now we're getting crossing this point. What is so big deal about this point? Well, apparently, in the middle of our galaxy, we have extreme radiation. For the simple reason, we have a black hole. Black hole, the energy shoots up and then swirls right into the middle and then spreads out right between the galaxies. So
Okay.
when you cross in that point, you get extra burst of radiation.
Okay.
Second of all, on each side of the galaxy, you have different polarity.
Okay.
It's a magnet.
Yeah,
Our
right.
planet is a magnet.
Okay.
All of a sudden, you got all the planets lining up. We're going through the middle of the galaxy. They're all getting radiated and hotter, which is we already can see right now. Everybody, well, of course, God trying to make you believe what it's a global warming.
Right.
In reality, it's sun getting hotter,
Oh, okay. Okay.
and that's what the whole purpose is of the fourth plague when it says the sun will scorch a man with intense heat. And
Right.
it's open up Revelation 16.
okay.
You know,
Now-
that's, well, actually, before we go to Revelation 16, let's open Revelation 6:12.
Okay.
Okay? And that's where we're going to start. There is a certain event happened when the sixth seal opened. 6:12.
Right.
Okay, why don't you read it to us?
Okay.
What happens then?
Let me find it.
Okay, I'll read it. And I looked, when he opened the sixth seal, lo behold, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became like blood, and the stars of heaven fell to earth, and as a fig tree drops the late figs when it's shaken by the mighty wind. Then the skies receded as a scroll when it's rolled up, and every mountain island was moved out of its place. And the most important one, and the kings of the earth, and the great men and rich men, and commanders and mighty men, every slave and every free man, hid themselves in caves in the rocks of the mountains, and said to the mountains and rocks, fall on us and hide us from the face of him who sits on the throne and from the wrath of the Lamb, for the great day of his wrath has come, and who's able to stand.